Hello everyone, it's Sal, Stretford Post. How you doing? And welcome to another episode of Chatterbox. Hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's doing fine. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day so far, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today, you special people. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash a like on the video if you guys could do that. It helps with all the algorithms and stuff like that. It's really important, guys. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Of course, let me put some graphic, maybe one graphic on my screen. Of course, let me put a graphic on my screen. Not this graphic. We definitely don't want that graphic. Bloody hell. We don't want, what graphic am I talking about? I'm talking about this graphic here. Look at this graphic. I mean, we don't want one of them graphics, do we? I mean, come on, guys. Look at Luke Shaw there. Look at Luke Shaw. Look, how many guys, here's a question. Out of this image right here, how many of these players will still be at Man United? That's a good question. That's a good question, guys. That is a good question. Let me just answer my wife. 1 second. Thank you, everyone who's joined me today. Yes, thank you, everyone. You guys, absolute legends, guys. So let's get into it. Mbuemo, Brian. Guys, Brian Mbeumo, of course, has been chatting to Mr. Onana. Now, look, guys, you know what? I might take this with a pinch of salt, but Onana has basically been persuading Mbuemo to sign for Manchester United. Now, look, you know what? Whatever you think about Onana, if Onana could persuade Mbuemo to come to Man United, which I believe he's coming anyway now, then something good has come out of the Onana transfer, hasn't it? If Mbuemo comes to Man United, something good has come out of the Onana transfer, isn't it, guys? Absolutely. So, you know what? One thing we have to say is that, you know, thank you, Onana, for whispering in Mbuemo's ear. The interview in regards to the Canadian Grand Prix, I think it was the Canadian Grand Prix, Mbuemo was speaking to Sky Sports, and he did sort of give the impression that he's saying goodbye to Thomas Frank. He was basically wishing Thomas Frank all the best, basically. There was nothing in that interview that suggested to me that Mbuemo is going to Tottenham. And Tottenham, they can offer all the wages they want. Mbuemo has set his stall out on signing for Manchester United, and that's what we want. That's the kind of player that we want, determined to play for Manchester United. And, you know, I love that about it. He's already agreed with it. He's already agreed personal terms with Man United. He's already said he wants to go to Man United. I don't think anyone in their right mind would turn around and say, you know what, I don't want to go to Man United anymore. I want to go to Tottenham. As you do. It would be absolutely nutty, wouldn't it, if he did that, of course, guys. Absolutely mad thing. Of course, let's get into the comments, guys. Hope you're all doing well. Good to all see you, guys. Cornish, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hi, Sal. Hopefully hear something positive. Hopefully, come on. The sooner, the better, Cornish made. The sooner, the better. That would be absolutely fantastic. I would love that. I mean, it could be this week. It could be next week, you know. Talks are ongoing. Man United are trying to organize a payment plan, you know, at the end of the day. They're trying to, Man United are a bit like a person in debt, you know, with the bank, and they're trying to work out a payment plan for the debt collectors. That's what Man United are, basically. That's what we're trying to do at the moment. So we're just trying to basically get a payment plan going on. Good morning, Kazi. How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. Good morning. Yep. Big up Ichichi. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Big up the Chatterbox. Big up Stephanie. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you as well. Good to see you as well. Onana needs to go, Sal. I can't stand another season costing us 15 points. Tulip. I just don't think he's going to go this season. The problem is, it's not that we don't want him to go. It's nothing to do with Amarim. It's the fact that if Onana wants to go, Onana could dig his heels in and say, I don't want to go. I want to stay. I want to play with my mate, Mbuemo. You know, next season, I want to be with my mate, Mbuemo. I want to play with him. That could be this. Both play for Cameroon, of course. So, look, you know what I would say is that, you know, I want Onana to go. I feel Man United need a much more competent goalkeeper. I don't think we have one at the moment. I think we have a goalkeeper that gives us anxiety, gives us indecisiveness. And I feel like that resonates across the team. That's an infection across the team when that happens. When he plays, it's like the team is nervous. And you can tell they're nervous. I mean, I don't know if you remember the game where Harry Maguire kicked it out, the ball out of touch, when Onana was there to pick up the ball and Harry Maguire just panicked and kicked it out of touch. they don't trust him. It's just the way it is. They don't trust him. And to be honest with you, I don't trust him. I like him. I like him as a person. But unfortunately, good people don't win you titles. They don't win you major trophies at the end of the day, And I would like him to go, but I just feel like Man United are not going to make that deal anytime soon. We have to sell Onana. Onana, obviously, will cost around 27 million to comply with FFP and PSR. I believe it's something like that amount of money. So I would like Onana to go, but it doesn't look like Onana's going to go this summer. I just got this feeling, guys. I'm not 100% sure, but I just got this feeling that to get rid of Onana, it's going to be extremely difficult to get rid of him. And, I hope we do. I hope we do. And I hope we get time and we have the finances, of course. Tulip, Rasmus needs to go. We'll help fund the striker. There you go. Obviously, we've heard the noises around Rasmus Højlund talking to Inter Milan, of course, Internazionale, of course, guys. And Inter Milan haven't made a firm offer. Inter Milan have inquired about Rasmus Højlund, the availability of Rasmus Højlund. But my main question is about Rasmus Højlund. And when I'm thinking about Inter Milan have Lautaro Martinez, Lukaku in their team, of course. So who's he going to get in front of there? Is Lukaku? No, Lukaku plays for Napoli. My apologies. They've got Lautaro Martinez. They've got Lautaro Martinez. So who's he going to get in front of there? Who's he getting in front of there? I want to know. Because there ain't many players. There's a good striking lineup at Inter Milan, and I don't think Rasmus Højlund would get in front of any of those players. I may be wrong, of course. Morning, Jim. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Big up, of course, Jim. Tulip. Athletic have described the type of striker Amazon wants, and it fits the Amazon Gokir's type, not the Ekitike. I saw that, Tulip. It's about strong, domineering, can burst the pace. Basically describing a really good striker, really, wasn't it? It was just basically describing a good striker. That's what it was doing. We all know what type of striker that Ruben Amorim wants. And as we said this morning on this morning's show, it's not necessarily the Ekitike type of player, absolutely not. And it's more like the Gyökeres, the strength, the power, and a striker like Osimhen or a Mateta. Those kind of players that I believe that Man United need. I believe that. I think Man United need that type of striker. I think Man United getting Ekitike represents a risk. Number one, it represents a risk. Number two, he's another runner. He's another flair player. Who gets the ball, runs with the ball, who takes on this man. I think we got enough flair players. I think what Man United need is that figurehead up front, that guy who can score goals, whose second nature is to score goals. That's what I would say. Absolutely. Big up, everyone. Of course, big up everyone, big up yourselves. Mbuemo wanted United anyway. Onana didn't have to do anything. He needs to go to Saudi. So we buy a new keeper. Look, you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, look, you know what? I would say that I don't know 100% whether Onana's influence has influenced Mbuemo, right? We could say, to play devil's advocate, he was the reason that Mbuemo's the reason Man United signed for the club. I actually think no. I think that probably they just had obviously a chat about it. What's things like at Man United? Oh, it's very good at Man United. Yay. Very nice. Absolutely not. Sorry about the Borat thing. But yeah, it's very nice at Man United, except we're 15th and we're not doing too well at the moment, but we need to get better. Basically something like that. But that happens in football all the time. International duty, it happens all the time. So I'm not surprised about that sort of thing. Nothing is set in stone and nothing is absolute in regards to what Onana has been saying to Mbeumo. At the end of the day. So Mbuemo signed for Man United. Mbuemo had a meeting, an interview with Sky Sports at the Canadian Grand Prix. And he was saying things that feel me, obviously. I already know that Mbuemo is going to be a Man United player. I've been told he's going to be a Man United player, and I'm not going to swift away. I trust the person who told me he's going to be a Man United player. And I would say that, and guys, let me tell you something, if he doesn't become a Man United player, that basically means that Tottenham are going to pay him an astronomical amount of money that he can't turn down, and that's what it is. That's the only thing Tottenham could do. But if he does turn down Man United to go to Tottenham in regards to an astronomical amount of money, then we don't really want him, do we? We don't really want a player like that at a football club who just wants money. So I don't believe he's that character. I believe he wants to sign for Man United. I believe he set his sights on signing for Man United, and I think he will be a Man United player next season. Of course, David's asked, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. And Mbeumo says good luck to him for his future. It's like, boss, have fun at Spurs. I'm not going to you. Exactly. Read between the lines here. Read between the lines. Exactly, David's asked. He said he wished him the best of luck. He said he's done well for his career, and he hopes he does well at Tottenham. That doesn't sound like a man who's going to Tottenham with Thomas Frank. It really doesn't. Subconsciously, you know what he's saying there. You read between the lines. He's saying that I'm leaving. I'm not going with you, Thomas Frank. And he's certainly not staying at Brentford. So there you go. Absolutely. Yale, what's going on? Good morning, good evening, good night. How are you doing? I'm very amused. I hear Salt Bay tried to get into the party at PSG winning Champions League to do another stunt, but he got kicked out. I'm not a fan of this guy. I actually went to Turkey. I was in Turkey and I was doing some media work in Turkey, in Istanbul last year. Those of you who were here, of course. I was doing some media work and I was talking to representatives of Fenerbahce. And I remember there was this Salt Bay restaurant. The main Salt Bay restaurant is actually in New York, and it cost £1,000 for a piece of steak. And they put all this gold around it and then they cut it and stuff like that. One thing I would say is that, he's done well for himself. He's done very well. He's a hustler. He's a chancer, and he's done well. And I have never tasted his steak. Maybe one day I will taste his steak, but I think he's done very well for himself. A bit of Salt Bay. I do use that quite a lot on this in regards to transfer rumors and stuff like that. I say, take it with a little Salt Bay. But he is an unlikable character. He is a little bit full of himself. He's been kicked out of parties. He's also been kicked out of other things, not just the PSG thing. He's been kicked out of clubs, bars, clubs, things like that. He's been kicked out of there, Maybe he's obnoxious. Maybe he's arrogant. I don't know. But you know what? He's done well for himself. And, he's not everyone's cup of tea, of course. He basically said, bun top spur. You know what I mean? Absolutely. You only need to say the word, because if I do that, if you say that, it's only going to come to you, mate. It's going to come haunting you back.
Tottenham? What? Tottenham Hotspur? Top Spur? No. What's that? you never heard of them? No.
I'm shameless, guys. I'm shameless. I'm still using it. Even though we lost to them in the Europa League final, I'm still losing. I'm still using it. I treat the Europa League final like a giant killing in the FA Cup. That's how I treat it. I feel like we've lost to Swindon Town in the FA Cup. That's how I feel like when I think about the Europa League final. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he's like, top Spur? Who's that? Top Spur? I'm going to top Spur. I've got a chance to go to Man United. I've got a chance to bring Man United back to the top. I've got a chance to be worshipped by 70,000 fans every single week and the best away fans in the world. Why wouldn't I go to top Manchester United? Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Stephanie. United pole position time and Mbuemo to speak on F1 there. Absolutely. In pole position. I got you there. A bit slow there, Stephanie. I got it. Absolutely. Brilliant. Big up. There you go. Bit slow today. Hi, Miss Jim. Are you having a good day? Big up, Jim, of course. Big up, my friend Jim, of course. Big good morning to everyone on the channel. Big up, everyone, of course. Good morning. I see Wayne Rooney still got good free kick. What's going on with Wayne Rooney, guys? How old is Wayne Rooney? Is he 46? No, he's younger than me. How old is Wayne Rooney? Because I'm looking at it and I'm looking at Wayne Rooney, my guy. Look after yourself, brother. He's a fantastic footballer still right now to this day, but Wayne Rooney's got to look after himself. I love Wayne Rooney. Look after yourself, brother, because you're getting a little bit timber. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that out of respect. I'm not fat shaming or nothing like that. I believe in health, at the end of the day. So I just think like, mate, you're not old, bruv. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he's starting to look like the guy. What's his guy out of, I've forgotten the guy's name out of Hangover. I've forgotten his name, but anyway. Big up, Jim. Martinez and Thuram. Absolutely. There you go. So how's he going to get Yale? How's he going to get in front of those two players? If Inter Milan want Rasmus Højlund, They're not going to pay 40 odd million for him, and then he's going to get ahead of Martinez and Thuram. It's going to be incredibly difficult, isn't it? PLJ, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, though. We need a striker who is a bit tall, fast, lean, and can finish. I know it seems like a lot, but there are a lot who can fit. It sounds like a superhero, PLJ. But big up, PLJ. I understand what we mean. Man United need a figurehead up front, a muscle up front, someone who can hold the ball, can shoot, can score, can finish, got a little bit of pace about him. You know what I mean? Can run the channels, can create. I mean, we're not asking for much at the end of the day. We're asking for the perfect player, isn't it, at the end of the day? If we can assemble the perfect player, that would be absolutely fantastic. But yeah, that is what Man United need. Absolutely, PLJ. Spot on. Man United need a powerful striker, not another skillful, flary, sort of Xerxes type of player. Do you know what I mean? Because we've got that player. You might as well just play Xerxes. I don't think playing Xerxes up front is going to get Man United the amount of goals that we want. Imagine we had Mbuemo, Cunha, and a striker. Imagine the amount of goals in just those trio right there. That little huddle right there would be absolutely fantastic, wouldn't it? Leeson, hi Sal. Which player from Al Nassr are we linked with, please? Yeah, I know. I need to get into this, guys. Sorry, guys. I'm a little bit out of sorts. Of course, Man United want the defender. The defender, Llorente, the Al Nassr player, has been linked with Chelsea as well. But I'm going to get into that very, very soon, guys. Let me just respond to this tweet. I'm going to get into that very, very soon. Man United are linked with him. He's unhappy at Al Nassr FC, of course, and basically wants to come back to Europe. Absolutely. Someone just sent me this tweet. I want to share it with you guys. I want to share it with you guys, to be honest with you. I want to share it. Absolutely. But I'm gonna get into the guys. I'm gonna get into the thing right now, guys. Absolutely. So someone sent me this thing. I'm gonna share it with you in a minute. Once I say yeah. So basically, we all remember Mr. Not Llorente, Mr. Laporte. Laporte is a player from Spain, the Almeric player, of course, and he is currently playing for Al Nassr. Now, Manchester United are interested in Mr. Laporte, basically, and there is claimed that they are set to make an offer to Al Nassr for the player. Now, the player is not happy in Saudi Arabia at the moment. We remember him from his time in Europe. Of course, was very highly rated. Of course, guys, a very good player. Of course, absolutely. The thing, 31 years old. This is the thing, though. He's 31 years old. And that is a little bit like concerning, obviously, because we're looking at the age, but the price is only 50 million euros. Obviously, 40 caps for Spain, 2 goals, extremely experienced. Now, guys, do you think Man United should go after a play like that? You know, 15 million euros, guys, 1 year left on his contract. Mr. Almeric Laporte, you know, and what do you think? I think Man United wouldn't be wrong in doing that, because I think Man United have got Euro, Man United have got Aiden Heaven, and we need a bit of experience in there, don't you think? Fredrickson and Kolungi and players like that, and we need a little bit of experience in there, isn't it? The problem is that his market value, when you look at Mr. Laporte's market value, it is from 15 million euros. It goes all the way up to 75 million euros. Now, I don't think he's going to be 75 million euros, but he is a very talented player, but he is also 31 years old. Let's not forget that. But I don't think that will be bad as a squad option. I really don't. A lot of experience in Laporte. And yeah, I forgot about what I was going to mention. Absolutely. I was speaking today to a journalist, and he said to me that Man United are looking at Laporte. I said, Laporte? And I said, isn't that like that name for a very long time? He said, yeah, Laporte. And I said, and he said, Man United could be looking at him and stuff like that. And, started off Athletic Bilbao, of course, went to Manchester City. We know that. It was an ex-Manchester City player, so that could be a little bit of an issue, of course. Didn't quite work out for him at Man City. He done all right, but gone to Saudi Arabia. So I haven't heard his name floated about much, but he wouldn't mind a move back to England, of course, guys. So that is the name that we're after, absolutely. Jim, Sal, would you be happy with Mateta? Yes, Jim, I would. I know he's not the fashionable choice. I know he's not the choice that a lot of people want to have. I know that there's a lot of people who feel like, it's because he plays for Crystal Palace, isn't it? Let's be real here. I think everyone who thinks, and I used to live near Crystal Palace and stuff like that. I love the area. I love Croydon and stuff. That's where I used to live, by the way. Well, not from there, but I used to live down that way. And I have a soft spot for Palace. Don't like them because they always give us problems, but I have a soft spot a little bit. And I think that I think people look at Crystal Palace and they think about Mateta's coming from Crystal Palace. Oh, he's not really going to get, it's a bit like that, isn't it? But I tell you one thing. I think that Mateta can make a huge impact at Man United. I really do. I've seen him. I saw him in the FA Cup final. And I think he's very, very good, a very good player. He can hold up the ball, run with the ball. The guy can finish, guys. He's powerful. He can finish. Sort of striker we need. Absolutely, Jim. Good afternoon, sir. Are there any midfielders linked to us at this moment in time? Nothing at the moment, as Gary Neville would say, at this moment in time. Big up, Tybo. What's going on? Probably unpopular, but I would abandon your carriers. And if he would like to come now, add 30 million and buy both Mateta and Schick. Goodness me, absolutely chic. Chic. Freak out. Chic. We got the song there already, guys. Freak out. Chic. We got it there already. It's already there. Goodness me, Tybo, you got me. Give me ideas here, mate. You know where you heard it first. Big up, Tybo. I agree. No, you know what? It is obviously dependent. I'm not going to be one of those guys who's just going to totally turn my back on your carriers. I'm not going to do that. If your carrier signs for Man United, fantastic. I'm going to support him, and that's it. But what I don't want these dramas. Do you know what I mean? Mary J. Blige dramas. I don't want this anymore. I don't want us to be going back and forth with the agent. I don't want that. I just want a player to come in and hurry up and come into Manchester United. That's what I want. If Arsenal are going for Sesko or if they're going for Eucharist, let Arsenal do what they want. Eucharist needs to make it clear he wants to come to Manchester United. That's what he needs to do. If he wants to come to Man United, make it clear that you want to come to Manchester United. But you know what? All the noises that have been circulating over this last few days have not filled us with hope, has it? It's not filled us with confidence. You know what I mean? Big up, Tyberg. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you again. Levi won't pay astronomical wages, Kazi. Absolutely. Top Spur. Sal, we have to move fast in the strikers market. Yes, we do. Snooze, you lose. Of course, Tottenham don't pay astronomical wages, I don't think. I mean, their astronomical wages is probably our low wage, isn't it, Jim? That's what it is with obviously Daniel Levi and all them guys over there. Obviously, it must be very frustrating to be a Tottenham fan. My older brother is a Tottenham fan. He's been a Tottenham fan for 40 years. Goodness me, he's been loving this last few weeks. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, look, I don't see Mbuemo going to Tottenham. He's going to Manchester United. I put my neck on the line for you guys. He's going to Manchester United. We have no worry about him going to Totspur. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Big up Sinead, by the way. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Absolutely. United, I want to be Osimhen, Mbeumo, Emi Martinez, Edison, Kang, in Lee, Louise, Hackney. Okay, mate. Pass. I can't eat steak, unfortunately. Don't worry, Kenny. He does vegetarian meals as well, brother. No problem. It does. What's up with the Salt Bay? Why did he get kicked out? He's a mouthy guy, mate. He's very arrogant. He's an arrogant guy. He's one of those eccentric guys. He hangs around with celebrities and all that. He does this little thing with the meat and then does the salt thing and stuff like that. Charges people £1,000 for it and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So there you go. His main restaurant is in New York, of course. Absolutely. Kazi, have you heard of them? No. If Onana do not go, it will cost us next season. Look, you know what, Nati? I am firmly in your court, mate. I'm in your corner, mate. I'm in the non-Onana corner. Na corner. Absolutely. I just think that he causes too much indecisiveness, and you know what? He causes our team to be anxious. I do believe that. I mean, he's a good goalkeeper, but not for Man United, not for an elite team. He's a goalkeeper that should be playing for the likes of, I don't want to be cruel, like a Marseille, like someone like that, like a probably a lower Spanish team, like a Villarreal or someone like that. A goalkeeper, he should be playing for a team like that, not Manchester United. He shouldn't be in the elite group in regards to, in regards to the top 6 teams in England. Definitely not. He's certainly not a Premier League goalkeeper. He's not physical enough. He stands on his lines. He's always flat-footed. He always stands in the wrong part of the goal to leave a big space on that side. I could pick the bones out of everything he does, to be honest with you. But I don't want to bully him. But what I would say is that Man United do need another goalkeeper. And I fingers crossed, once we get the strikers and then Mbuemo through the door, we can concentrate on getting a goalkeeper. Then I will feel a lot more relaxed. Natty, you will feel relaxed. I will feel relaxed, of course. Sal, Ekatike is underperforming by his times goals by 7 goals. I watched Pythags, an analyst on him. He cannot finish on YouTube. There is a comp of 80 shots too, and he cannot shoot. Look, at the end of the day, Tulip, he's not a goal scorer. Like he scores goals. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's the kind of player that Man United need. I've been looking at him for the last 2 days. I've been looking at him, looking at YouTube compilations and stuff. Obviously, compilations can be manipulated. Compilations and stuff like that can be manipulated. But what I would say is that I don't think he is the kind of striker that Man United need. I think Man United need a focal point, a guy up front, a strong, tough, you know what I mean, a beast up front whose primary basically skill set is putting the ball into the back of the net. You know, like a Haaland. Haaland can't take on 10 players and bury it in the corner. He can't do that. But what he does do well is he's in the box at the right time, at the right place, and puts that ball in the back of the net. Because we that's what we need. We don't score goals. We need a guy just concentrating some goals. We don't need another guy to take it from deep and run all the way up the field. We got Xerxes to do that. We can bring on Xerxes. We got Ahmad. We got Cunha. We got Mbuemo. We got Bruno. We got loads of players who could do that thing. So we need a player who can be the figurehead up front and can put that ball in the back of the net, of course, guys. Absolutely. We're waiting for Fabrizio Romano, of course. Anytime there could be a here we go, guys. Now that the window is open, there could be a here we go anytime, guys. Absolutely, of course. I think we will end up with Gyökeres, and Asna will go for Sesko. Gyökeres took the Asna bait and made himself look a mug. But at the end of the day, he's best available, so we take him. Tulip, I wouldn't say no. Exactly. If he doesn't go to Asna, it's a good chance for Man United to get him. And I don't think anyone's going to say no. Right? I don't think anyone's going to say no because I personally believe he's better than Sesko. So, you know, at the end of the day. Bear me a second, guys. I go messed up. Here we are. Yeah, so sorry about that. Yeah, so you know what? There you go. I think that he's better than Sesko. I think Man United would be better with Gyökeres because of obviously the Amram effect, and I think he'd do very well. But I'm not at the moment. I'm not exclusively down to one player. I like a lot of players, right? I do like a lot of players, and you know, especially Mateta. I think he's underrated, incredibly underrated. I do rate him a lot. Ekatike would be my last choice. 39 now. Who's that? Sulpe. Big up, Jengas. How you doing, my friend? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Oh, Rooney. Yeah. How old does Rooney look, guys? How old does he look? He's looking bad, bruv. He's looking bad. He's looking bad. He needs to look after himself. That's what I would say. He looks 50, 55, 55. Yeah. Mad. I will understand if he's younger than me. A lot younger. I will understand if he cannot afford to keep a keeper and center midfielder, but after Mbuemo and a 9. But if we don't get both a keeper and center midfield, then I'll be disappointed. Look, Ruben Amram has already said it already, Tulip. Ruben Amram said that we're not going to get all the deals done this window. Unfortunately, as much as we need the deals done this window, it's not gonna happen. And especially not with this ownership that we are under at the moment. This is why we wanted a full sale, because of the magnitude of the work that needs done at Old Trafford is incredible. We've got so much work that we need doing, not only players in, but also players out. This is why, I don't think we're going to sign everyone. I think we'll get Mbuemo. I think we'll get a striker. We might squeeze a goalkeeper. Hopefully, we get a midfielder. That would be absolutely fantastic. But we're looking at the kind of caliber of the midfielders that we're looking at. You're looking at the likes of Wharton, Baleba, Edison. You know, those type of players, which are incredibly expensive. I like Vanderson. We need a right wing back. Are we going to rely on Dalot? Are we going to do that? You know, because we've only got Dalot as a natural right wing back. or fullback. He's a fullback mainly. So we need a player like Van. Man United need a lot doing to this team. You could argue that we need a defender. This is like I've been talking about Laporte at the moment. You can argue that we need a defender as well. Not just just the right wing back, the midfield, the strikers, the attacking midfielders, and the goalkeeper. We need a lot. The whole team needs to be rebuilt. That is what a rebuild is, isn't it? And I hope that they pull out something out the bag. I really do. Absolutely. Leeson, we must sign Big Zoo. He can score goals and strikers. My goodness me, Leeson. Do you see that goal yesterday? The window is open again today. What you're doing? What are we doing in signings? It's where we're working it at the moment. Joseph, big up, Joseph. How you doing? Man United are working on a payment plan for Mbeumo at the moment. Hopefully, we will get here. We go very, very soon, guys, and put this one to bed. 2 pillows, nice and comfy. Mbeumo, Manchester United through the door. Hopefully, we get that very sooner rather than later, because we want to move on to the strikers, and we've only got one at the moment. We've only got one player at the moment that is signed for Man United, so that's disappointing, absolutely. Damn, I thought Duran. Big up, Kenny. Yeah, Duran's a good player as well, playing in Saudi Arabia. Might be too used to the lavish lifestyle in regards to his wages and things like that. Of course, Joseph, the window is open again. What are we doing signings to Mbeumo? Oh, sorry, just read that one. Sorry, mate. Big up. Laporte, you mean so? Yeah, Laporte, mate. Yeah, I'm thinking about something else. We don't need a wash centre back. Oh, centre backs are okay. I mean, and the number 9. I mean, at the end of the day, Man United are looking at him, and he's only going to cost around 50 million euros. So I don't think we need a defender, in my personal opinion. I really don't, especially a defender that is played for Manchester City. I don't think we should be considered. But if Man United manage to get the players through the door that they need, then we can possibly add a defender to the ranks. An experienced defender to the ranks wouldn't go amiss, of course. What we have to understand is that what is the key points of Man United's problem? The key areas, obviously, midfield, striker, attack, goalkeeper, right wing back for me. And that is what should be prioritized, that. But we're not going to get all those deals done. We're not. Let me tell you that right now. We're not going to get all those deals done. Sal, how much percent you give us to get Osman? Very low, mate. About 35, 40%, Natty. Absolutely. Laporte centre-back, yeah. Khan, I think it has a flair and potential, but looks very raw, especially at 85 minutes. There's got to be better, cheaper options for that money. There is, Cengiz. Of course there is. There's Mateta. There's Osman. There's players like that who are better value for money, in my opinion. Better proven at scoring goals. Do you know what I mean? There's players like that. We have to look at not what's glamorous. This is exactly what I've been saying, Cengiz. I've been saying about flair and stuff like that. We have to look at not only what's glamorous, but also what is, going to fit our team, going to fit our formation, our tactics, what's going to fit the Ruben Amorim tactics at the end of the day. We don't want players just to put in, and spend a lot of money on them. And as soon as they come into Man United, they've already got this big, huge pressure on them to perform and to score goals. Do you know what I mean? He's going to be he's on his last year of his contract, Jenga, so we could get him for about 40. If we're good, I sound like a Christmas. At the end of the day, I think we can get him for about 40, 50 million, which is be good. He's on the last year of his contract. He's got 1 year left on his contract, so that's not too bad. Yes, he was, Kazi, yeah. Flop. No, they weren't a flop, but you know what I mean. Absolutely. We're looking at him, 50 million. He wants to come back to Europe. Mateta with Cunha and Mbuemo supporting could be very good. Absolutely, Jim. It could be, I think that, when you look at that, that's probably one of the most dangerous trios in European football. I know I might be exaggerating and stuff like that. I do believe that. I'm looking at things like from, I'm trying not to be biased, but I look at that, even with just Cunha and Mbuemo, if we added Osman, if we added Mateta, if we added Gyökeres, I still believe, even if we added Ekitike, right? I still believe that would be the most dangerous, potent trio in European football, along with the likes of PSG and teams like that. I did read that Arsenal could snub both Sesko and Gyökeres and go for Watkins instead, since he's half. Arsenal. Look, guys, I cannot emphasize how important it is to get a striker. All right, the striker is the most important thing because goals win games at the end of the day. Yes, a goalkeeper is important, but a striker will always look at what happened to Arsenal last season. Look what happened to Arsenal last season. No striker. You know, they suffered. Even though I don't think a striker is going to win in the league. I don't think a striker is going to win Arsenal the league. I really don't. I think there's a lot more going on at Arsenal than just the striker. I don't think football is as simple as that. Oh, just add a striker. As I said yesterday, do you remember when Real Madrid signed the likes of David Beckham and they signed, obviously, Zinedine Zidane and Figo and players like that? I'm sure they thought they were building the perfect team, right? But when you look at things in the grand scheme of things, that Real Madrid team was nowhere near as successful as the team they've had the last 20 years. And the team they had the last 20 years hasn't really been Galacticos-based. So that's what I'm saying. Football doesn't deal with simplistic, things like that. Like, oh, bring a striker in and Arsenal will win the league. I know a lot of people are thinking like that. You know, why? Tell me why they're going to win the league. Like, at the end of the day, why are they going to go above Liverpool now? Liverpool have improved. They're getting obviously what's his name? Xerxes. They're also getting they've got Frimpong already. They've got Works already. How are they going to get rid of in front of Man City? You know, who've got Cherky, who've got Manouche, who've got this, who they're proven as well. So I don't think football deals with these absolutes that people say. And I think that this league, right, especially last season, was not the strongest league I've ever seen in the Premier League. And when I'm talking about the Premier League, I think that Man United have got a great opportunity. This right now is a great opportunity for Man United because I don't believe that these teams are as strong as they think, you know? Absolutely. Stephen Maguire, big up. Ineos and Glazers out all day long, Stephen. Big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. Absolutely. Natty, we need the strikers in pre-season. It's a very important position. Yeah. Look, having strikers before the pre-season, which I think we start training on the 7th of July, and my first game, I think, is on the 19th of July against Leeds. Right? I cannot overestimate how important it is to get the players in so that we can work on the system, so we can work on tactics and stuff like that. You know, it's so, so important. It's imperative that we do that because over the number of years that we've been supporting this great football club, we've never had a proper pre-season, right? It doesn't always work out to plan. Even under Sir Alex Ferguson, we signed Dwight York. Dwight York actually played one game for Aston Villa against Everton. Remember that? Then he signed for Man United in the Premier League. So it does happen like that sometimes. But majority of the signings we get through the door back then. Nowadays, we're like, we spent the whole summer chasing Ugarte. We spent the whole summer chasing. We got Ugarte late, guys. We got him late. You know? I think it was after the Fulham game, we got him. And then eventually we got him. And he hadn't had no pre-season. We need to have a pre-season. We need to get off the blocks quickly next season. We need to obviously be ready for the first game next season. We need to be ready. And you know what? Having a pre-season will help contribute towards that. Lalani, what's going on? I would love to see Mateta, but there's no way Ineos will go for him over the fancy names that are out there. He's exactly what we need. The Premier League proven strong, build-up play, and a complete striker. I agree with that. Yarli, it's a very good point. Absolutely. Big up, by the way, Yalali. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Absolutely. I want that Serbian player who we get for 10, 15 million in the Saudi, Mitrovic, mate. Mitrovic is a fantastic player. Mitrovic, guys, if you remember Mitrovic when he was playing for Fulham, he gave us all sorts of problems when he was playing for Fulham. An absolute underrated player, guys. So underrated. I'll tell you that right now. And I wouldn't be unhappy with Mitrovic. The only thing with Mitrovic is that he's 30 years old. It's not old. I know that. But what Ineos are looking at, they're looking at, players about 26, 25, 26, that sort of area, who've got a few years left. But I don't think Mitrovic will be a bad stopgap. I really don't. I think he will be a decent signing, of course. Kameni, much better than Onana. I think there's many goalkeepers out there, Leeson, than obviously... There's goalkeepers I saw on the bloody Soccer 6, the Soccer Aid were better than him, to be honest with you. Yeah. Mitrovic would do a job, 20 million, definitely to United fans want sexy name though. This is the problem, Jenkins. When Alex Ferguson was the manager, right? And we signed Carrick. I'll be honest with you guys, and let's be real, right? When we signed Carrick, I wasn't extremely elated with Carrick. I thought, Michael Carrick. I was like that. And then when we signed Dwight York, they weren't fashionable names. They weren't names like you thought, wow, you know what I mean? We just signed Alexandro Del Piero or David Trezeguet back then. It was Dwight York, right, from Aston Villa. And we were like, yeah. But he fitted in the system. Just like Carrick fitted in the system. That is exactly what it's all about. And I think players like Mitrovic are highly underrated. We could probably get him for 10, 15 million. They're highly underrated. They're fit in the system. Warriors, absolute nutters. It's exactly what we need. It's exactly what we're missing. That type of player. This is why we're going after the likes of Gyökeres and Osman, because it's that type of player, innit? Got an attitude. You know what I mean? And that's why people, when they talk about Turkey, I don't care what Turkey does. If Turkey was playing for Man United and he said, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to unalive Man City, I'll be like, yeah, come on, Turkey, come on. You want players like that. Do you know what I mean? But unfortunately, he's gone to Man City. You need that little bit of Chelsea. Absolutely. We are not in pole position to say no because we are not his first choice. Absolutely, that's true. Big up, Natty. Man United, a refresher. What's going on, my friend? Hope we're doing well. Man United lost in an avalanche, lost in a pile up of clubs taking over when you don't keep managers for long. Lost pile up of clubs taking over. When Man United got lost in an avalanche, lost in a pile up of clubs taking over when you don't keep managers for long. This is the problem. Backlog. And to be honest with you, Man United sacking managers isn't the way forward. And I think a lot of people will agree with that, of course. Rooney does look like a guy in his near 60s. He's got to look after himself, you know. He has. I love him. I love Ray Rooney. He's got to look after himself. And I'm saying that as like brotherly love. I just want a striker who can bully our opponents. It's why I want Delap. Mitrovic would be the perfect bully who can score and cheap, Yale. And cheap. He's not going to cost an arm and a leg, is he, at the end of the day, guys? Absolutely not. Max 4-5 signings. Big up. Jengus, Rooney enjoying the booze and steaks. He looks happy. Yeah. Hopefully the old ticker is happy as well at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? And the cholesterol. We're not in a position to say no because we are not his first choice. Big up, Natty. Mitrovic, for me, perfect bully of a striker. Absolutely, Kenny. Absolutely. Barbara Flossie, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. We also need a lesser talking manager like Slot. Barbara Flossie, you lost me there, mate. Slot is just lucky he slotted into a team that was already established and he just needed to press play. You know what I mean? Even Ruben Amorim would have won the league with that lot. About the only thing Onana could do right is help us get Mbuemo. There you go. Absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. The outgoings worry more than the incomings. If we can get the incomings coming in, Natty, if we can get the incomings, if we can get the players coming in, I will be happy, right? What we do is Sancho, in particular Sancho and Rashford, right? These two players, I don't want to be a disruption on the team because it's not just about the money. It's about the toxicity that they can bring to the team. They could distract the younger players, be a bad example, for argument's sake. They could be like that. And that's what I don't want. Do you know what I mean? I don't want any problems. I don't want any toxicity at Man United. You know, I want us to have a clean slate with a new team. And we haven't got Rashford. We haven't got Sancho. We haven't got Anthony. And hopefully we don't have Luke Shaw. But Luke Shaw looks like he's going to be staying. I don't know anyone in their right mind who would go after Luke Shaw at the moment. Who would buy Luke Shaw? I mean, he's too injury prone, isn't he? And Mason Mount and players like that, of course. Jengus, Chido could learn from Mitrovic how to bully. Jengus, my guy, you know what you're talking about, but Jengus, absolutely spot on. Spot on. Absolutely. How to use your body, how to work on the dark arts of the game, things like that. Do you know what I mean? Refresher, it's very easy to change and fix a team like United. Problem is the managers are not fit to manage the game. There you go. I think Ruben Amorim is a very good manager. I think he will be proven to be a very good manager as well. Smash the likes and subscribe. Absolutely. Absolutely. Vincent Abubakar would not be a bad striker also. Yes. Also, we were talking about a couple of players earlier on as well in regards to the strikers. Mateta is underrated player. He knows the system very well. I agree with that. Kirk has gone to Liverpool. Yep. Kenny, not going to do Arsenal need a striker. Not only do Arsenal need a striker, they need a creative midfielder and a right winger to cover for Saka, in my opinion. Saka's very injury prone, isn't he, Kenny? He's very injury prone, and they do need another right winger. Absolutely. They got Zubimendi through the door. They have got a midfielder there. But they're in a good position. They play good football. They're there. I don't think they're going to win the league. I don't think they're going to win any trophies. I don't think they're going to do anything next season, basically. But they play nice football, and that's about it. More settled than us, of course, but we're aiming higher. We want to challenge the powers that be, don't we? Listen, what do you think about Gattuso as a new Italian coach? Or it's gonna be. Listen, as a guy who's connected to Italian football, it's gonna be an absolute madness. Sometimes you're good, and sometimes you're shit. Basically, you know what I mean. What I would say is that those players are not going to get away with anything now. The Italian players, they lost 3-0 the other week. They've been underperforming, serially underperforming the Italian national team since the Euros. This is why I cannot fathom how Gareth Southgate managed to lose to that Italian team. Unbelievable. England should have won that. Absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. Hi, Sal. I've been thinking about what you were saying this morning, and I agree. It will be 4-player, the front 3, and a new goalie. Next season, it will be the midfield and a centre-back. Big up, Bill. Thank you, Bill. Good. Thank you for thinking about what I've been saying. But I think, what I would say is that I would be satisfied. I wouldn't be happy, but I would be satisfied if that was the case. If Man United got the three forwards and then Man United got a goalkeeper, that would satisfy me. I would be content. I do know Man United need a right wing back. I think right wing back is very important. I'm sorry, but I just don't think Dalot is that guy. I do think Man United need a couple of, not one midfielder. I think Man United need a couple of midfielders. You know what I mean? And we got Ugarte, we got Mainu, Bruno plays in there. I just don't think it's strong enough. I don't. Thankfully, we're going to have a very strong lineup next season in regards to the front forward by the looks of things. So hopefully it does happen, and then Mbuemo comes through the door and we bring in a striker as well. Midfield is an issue, and of course, right wing back and the goalkeeper is an issue. If we can get, as I said, if we can get the 3 strikers and we can get the goalkeeper in there, I think we'll be all right. I think we'll move up that league, and I think we'll challenge the top 4. I believe that. I really do. Now, what will happen with Bruno is that Bruno won't need to drift out of position now. Bruno could stay in his position in the number 8 and could just give the ball to Cunha and then Mbuemo like that. He doesn't need to worry too much about drifting out of position and creating bagels of space in the midfield, of course. 4 players incoming. I agree with that. I think it'd be about 4. I'll be happy with that. Absolutely. Eileen, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Which striker do you think we will get, should sign? I think it depends on who Arsenal sign. When they decide, it will be domino effect and think it's clear who's available. Eileen, you know what? What I would say, Eileen, big up Eileen, by the way. Big up the Twitter fam. What I would say is that I would be happy with Mateta. I would be happy with Gyökeres. I also be happy with Osimhen. Those 3 players right there are the players that I will be happy with. I won't moan. I won't cry. I won't do anything like that. I don't anyway, but I would say that I'll be happy with those players. I think that will be strong for Man United. On the second tier, I would look at, obviously, Ekitike and Mitrovic and players like that, and I'll see like that. But Mitrovic, I'm sort of close to putting him in my first tier. I'm close to saying buy Mitrovic. I'm close to saying that and keep him on the bench. Have a Mitrovic and rotate him, but keep him on the bench because he's the sort of player that will cause problems. He's the sort of player that Man United need, in my opinion. Yale. Arsenal should do us a favour and come through, get Rashford from us. Yeah, it would be lovely, wouldn't it? Would be lovely at the end of the day. Christian, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. I grew up with us having 3 or 5 striking options. Now we are relying on 1 and only wanting 1. It only takes him to get injured and we are back to none. The argument I would have in regards to that, Christian, big up yourself, hope you're doing well, is that Man United used to play a 4-4-2. So Man United used to have 2 strikers up front. I do believe that Chido is a good striker. I believe he's going to come good next season. This is why I was just saying, just this point right now, that we should sign Mitrovic and keep him on the bench, someone like that, so we can bring him off the bench. You know what I mean? Someone like that, as well as having a first-team striker. Let's not underestimate Musa and Chido. I think they're going to be great strikers. But in regards to having ready-made strikers, I would get Osimhen, Mateta, or someone of that nature, and getting a Mitrovic as a backup striker, someone like that who's not going to cost too much. Big up, Christian. Who is the most charismatic player in Man United's history? Charismatic player, probably Eric Cantona. Natty, probably Eric Cantona is the most charismatic. It depends what you mean. But in regards to an impact, in regards to overall personality, it's got to be Cantona, isn't it? Cantona, you don't go much further than Cantona, to be honest with you. Rooney was pretty charismatic. To be honest with you, he was. Dwight York was very charismatic as well. We used to have a team full of characters. We used to have a team full of personalities and stuff like that. Not anymore. Daniel, what's going on? I'd be happy with Mateta. I think he's a good striker. Plus, we do need 2 midfielders. I agree, Daniel. Absolutely. Slices of sin. What's going on? We need 2 midfielders at some point. Yes, we do. Hopefully, we might even get it this summer. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we do, of course. Christian, Mainu needs to be sold or go on loan. 50 Premier League games, 3 goals, 1 assist, not a number 6, struggles at number 8. He can't break the lines as a number 10. Slowest 20-year-old I've ever seen. Christian, can I ask you a question, mate? Can I ask you a question in respect? What happened to him? What happened to him? Because we could look at the first season and say, well, Mainu was brilliant in the first season. Mainu was brilliant under Erik ten Hag. Is it to do with the contract? Do you think it's to do with the contract? He's rejected, obviously, the first offer of a contract from Man United. Do you think it's the contract that is the problem here? It could be. Might have distracted his game and stuff, his agent and things like that, of course. Big up, Bill. Agree, Christian, absolutely. But Christian makes a good point there. Because what do we do in Mainu? If Mainu carries on this poor form, I can only think of one game last season that Mainu actually made an impact, which was obviously the Lyon game. So what do we do? I like Mainu. I really do. And people know that. I always support the youth players at Man United. I've never been the guy to say we should sell a youth player. That's what it bugs me. We're probably going to sell Garnacho and things like that. But we have to look at things from a objective point of view, and we have to look at things from from a balanced, non-biased point of view. And last season, Mainu showed us a lot of bad. Does that mean he's a bad player? No, but maybe he played too much football. We could argue that point. Maybe he did that. Maybe he needs one more season. Maybe. I don't know. But I do think he's got the ability. I think I saw a lot of ability in his first season, especially when he ended up playing for England as well. So, I know. It's a tough one. But good question. Big up. Good tweet. A good message, my friend, Christian. Cantona was the most charismatic, but in my eyes, Roy Keane comes a close second. I agree with that, Tyberg. Forgot about Roy Keane. Absolutely. Schmeichel was a very charismatic player as well, of course. Big up, Tyberg, you legend. Anthony and the new dual ownership deal. Real Madrid has found an idea that will get Anthony, but we owe them, but owe him 50%, and they owe him 50%. Let's find a new buyer for Anthony. Anthony just needs to go to Atletico Madrid or something like that, because I do know that they're interested in him. We can't be messing about with this penny pinching from Real Betis. If Betis want Anthony, sell a player. You know what I mean? Or try and entice us. Try and entice us with something. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Big up, Sanjay. Hope you're doing well. Of course. Maybe Mainu is too greedy, and that's affecting his situation. I can't say no, because at the end of the day, his form dipped. His form dipped when the contract thing was going on, wasn't it? But I don't want to speculate too much, of course. Charismatic David Beckham, Leighton Stone lad like me. Of course, we're all charismatic guys. Absolutely. Christian, 180k maybe. Amram wants pace, athleticism. Kobe doesn't have any of those characteristics. Nice lad, but not for me. Fair play. United Road. Real Betis sold a player for 40 million already, so they can buy Anthony, can't they? Edison fits the deep midfield, but not for 80 million. I agree with that. I do agree with that. Absolutely. United Road. They have the money. I do agree with that. I think they do. They're just playing the game, mate. Real Betis taking us on a ride. Tell them to pay for Anthony up now or F off. And we could just get someone else to buy him, because I'm sure there'll be plenty of buyers out there. There's interest in Italy. There's interest in Leverkusen. There's interest in Atletico Madrid. Go, you know what? At the end of the day, Betis, you know what? Go away. If you can't afford him, stop wasting our time. We have had too much time of our time wasted already, of course. Far too much of our time wasted already. This is why this whole summer, I do not want any time wasters. I do not want us chasing one player for the whole summer. Do you know what I mean? I don't want that. I want us to get our deals done, get the preseason ready. 7th of July, we've got most players in that we need. Our team looks strong, and we go for it, and we practice. You know what I mean? Absolutely. I'm greedy. I want Baleba. Baleba's a great player, Bill. One thing I would ask, I would beg the question, okay? Brighton, right? Brighton and Hove Albion, right? Where do they find these players? How do they do it? They do it every single year. They bring in a player, they find a player, and this player becomes like a 60, 70 million pound player. And you're like, bloody hell, he's good, isn't it? You've seen that Baleba in the midfield. You know, they lose McAllister, there's a new one off the block. They lose Casado, there's a new one off the block. It's crazy, isn't it? You know, how they do it. Absolutely. Big up. Miles, hi Sal. If we had the firepower, I find it might cover the weakness goals. God bless you, brother. Big up, my friend. I agree with that. I do. It could do. Hopefully. That's glad today you can have a Baleba. Big up, United Road. Not another Frankie de Jong saga. We don't want that, guys. Absolutely not. No more Frankie de Jong rubbish. Look, your Keres has got the same agent as Frankie de Jong. But also, that same agent has also been the agent of Victor Lindelof. So we've been in and around that agent before. Yeah, you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Eileen, apparently there was talk of a swap deal with Anthony for Douglas Reed. I would have taken that absolutely. What happened, I wonder? In regards to swap deals, okay. It depends. It depends on agents. It's always very difficult to do swap deals, including price differences, FFP, PSR, and stuff like that. Agent, who gets the fee of the agents, who gets the most money and stuff like that. It's always incredibly difficult, you know. But Man United could also do that. Would you get Douglas Reed for Anthony? I wouldn't. He flopped at Juventus, okay? I would get the money from Anthony and put it towards another player. I would. I like Douglas Luiz. I think he's a good player. But the 40, 50 million that we will get for Anthony, for me, is too valuable. I think that's too valuable. I think we can reinvest that money in somewhere, another part of the team, a new goalkeeper, a new midfielder, you know what I mean? And someone that, you know what I mean? 20 million more, you can get a Wharton. You know, you get a Baleba. You know what I mean? But it is subjective, of course. United Ronald smiling, big up, Bill. Brighton scouting team much better than ours, I think. Yeah. I'm better than them at scouting. Daniel, it's different playing for United. Pressure is too much. I agree, Daniel. Absolutely. People forget about the weight of the shirt, don't they? They forget about the weight of the shirt. Sorry, sir, about my spelling, the joys of learning difficulties, but we keep going. Big up, Miles. Much love, brother. Don't worry about that. This is not Harvard University. You don't need to worry about that, mate. You can spell how you want, mate. Don't worry about that. We don't judge people on here. Absolutely not. Big up, Miles. You great legend. Selling Anthony would be a down payment on maybe 2 players. I agree, Bill. And this is the thing. Man United are not exclusively doing deals with the fee up front. Man United are doing deals in basically in installments. So they're spreading the deal out for like 5 years. So if we get 40 million for Anthony, theoretically, it could be that Man United could buy 2 players with that. You know what I mean? If we do a swap deal, we're not going to get that. You know what I mean? So if Man United need the money, Man United can get the players through the door. Man United could do what Chelsea are doing at the moment and play the game and get players, you know, on longer contracts. You know what I mean? For me, Adam Wharton is a must. Another Declan Rice. I agree, Daniel. Very good player. Very good player. I think we'll regret missing out on Adam Wharton because he's a sort of player that will go to Arsenal, that will go to Man City, that will go to Chelsea, you know? I do think Man United should go for him. Guys, let me tell you something. You know, would you sacrifice Mbuemo for a midfielder? Look, I'm playing devil's advocate here. What would you do? Would you sacrifice Mbuemo for a midfielder? I'm just saying. I wouldn't, but you know what I mean. I think the problem with United is that every new signing we make, they want to perform from the get-go. Any build takes time. Fans need to have patience. I agree, Dabizas, especially with the manager. You know, because I'm seeing people calling out the manager. I'm seeing people blaming Ruben Amorim for everything. You know what I mean? It's just getting really obsessive. We could have Alphonso Davies for 1 million, Haaland for 500k, and Casado for 5 million. Glazers, yeah. Haaland actually played alongside Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, played with not with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, Sal, I see getting Mbuemo. I see us get. Yes, I agree. He's a Man United player in my eyes, B Bully. I'm not going to change. Of course, Valberdis can do one. Absolutely, Kazi. Absolutely. PSR has put a stop to swap deals. We won't see that happen. I mean, I'm not a big fan of PSR. I think it's just making the game too complicated. No, I loved Aaron Mbeumo. More firepower needed first. Agreed. United Road. Big up, Sal. Big up, Danny B. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. I would for Walton. Daniel, there you go. See, there you go. No chance we need Mbeumo. There you go. See the differences in opinion. That's what I love about this community. Ollie told us to sign Holland in time. We allegedly messed up the paperwork. Conveniently messed up the paperwork, I would say. Absolutely, the Glazers. Hell no, Mbeumo would improve a lot. Along with Cunha, just need to find in a missing piece of the puzzle. Big up, Leeson. Big up. Ronaldo suggested Luis Enrique, but we got Ten Hag. Ten Hag won 2 trophies, though, didn't he? Man United, let me tell something, guys. Man United are not BSG. Man United are not run by Qatar. Right? Let me tell you that right now. Man United, you can have your Luis Enriquez. Luis Enriquez will be the new Eric Ten Hag at Man United. Man United have a cultural problem that resonates from the top all the way down to the bottom. Football, as I've always said, is not simplistic. Right? PSG are a perfectly run football club. Right, with owners that care about the football. They're at every game. We're run by people just care about money and business and filling up their pockets and regeneration projects and ego. That's what that's who we have in charge. We have to look at that and we have to understand that not everything deals with just because, we got Eric Ten Hag, we could have got Luis Enrique. He's still walking into the same shit show. At the end of the day, we still got the Glazers at the football club. It doesn't really matter. We can get Luis Enrique. We can get Zinedine Zidane. We can get all these people. We still got the Glazers. The cultural problem at the football club is a representation of what is on the football pitch. For example, Luke Shaw can feign injury and not have to worry about it because it doesn't matter. He'll get a new contract anyway. That's a cultural problem at the football club. Luis Enrique walked into a football club. Nice. Press play. Just like Arne Slot. Press play. That's it. Yes, he's a good manager. Don't get me wrong. But so was Eric Ten Hag. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Check Mbuemo's fax machine. Absolutely. Big up Daniel, of course. Guys, Mbuemo all day long. I think I agree with you guys. Absolutely. I agree with you guys. Eileen, he is too expensive in my opinion. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Please don't forget to keep your notifications on in case we go live. And if it breaks, we will be live, guys, for the update, of course. If there is a here we go, it is inevitable. There is going to be a here we go very, very soon, guys. So please don't forget to put your notifications on. Please also don't forget to smash a like on the video, guys, if you're as kind to do that for me. And also subscribe if you're new, guys. Thank you, guys, for joining me today. You're absolute legends. I will see you later if something breaks. If not, I'll see you tomorrow for Breaking Dawn. Take it easy, guys. Peace.